Okay, we're going to start now. What you see before you, and here I'll probably reduce the size down a little bit, so just in case everyone doesn't have as wide a monitor as I do. This is what we call the inventory feed, and the sole purpose of the inventory feed, well, I guess it has several purposes, is to manage your listings. So if you had added some new products to the Buy.com product catalog, this is the feed that you would want to use to list those products with. As I mentioned earlier with one of the attendees, there is a version 3.0. 3.0 is standard when downloading all your available listings from the seller tools in your seller account. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to log in to my seller account. I don't know if I need to, yeah, I'll need to do that. Hold on one sec here. And what we're going to be doing today is specifically talking about the inventory feed. I realize that we have a number of different other feeds available for sellers to use, but for just to ensure everyone is focused on this feed alone, we will only be discussing the inventory feed for today. Okay. Okay. So again, this is an Excel spreadsheet. We don't actually process the Excel spreadsheet. We provide the Excel spreadsheet so that you have an easier time with data entry. This file will eventually have to be converted into what we call a text tab delimited file. And that's simply done by using the Save As function. And some of you are probably very familiar with this window. There's a very specific Save As file type. And this will be highlighted here as the text tab delimited. I know that some other feed-oriented services have other formats in which and types of which you can upload. However, our systems work primarily and exclusively on text tab delimited files. And that's true for all our feeds, whether you're working with a new product feed or a cancellation feed or the inventory feed that we're talking about today. They all should be converted into a text tab delimited file before uploading. Okay. So let's just go through the inventory feed cell by cell. This, what we call the header version, is very important. That needs to be there. Some sellers in the past have deleted that particular row. We need that row in there because it tells us which version you are using. We've had several versions out there. The two prominent versions that are in use today is what we call a version 3.0 and the version 5.0, which has all the features and functionalities available as part of the inventory feed. The inventory feed is used to list products for sale. It is also used in management of your pricing, inventory, shipping rates, shipping lead times. It also manages whether or not you want particular listings to be active or if you want to close them. And we'll be going through how you can do that a little later on when we go through cell by cell. Now, the first cell is called the listing ID. Now, the listing ID is not something you have if you're listing for the very first time. The listing ID is generated by Buy.com when the product is listed for the very first time. The listing ID field is not mandatory or required, so you can leave that field blank. The main field, which a lot of sellers use to list their products for sale, is called the product ID. Now, the product ID can be several types, one of which is UPC code. Another is the ISBN if you're listing books. We have and we have this what we call the seller SKU and the buy.com SKU number. The most common ones are UPC and seller SKU. Buy.com number, not so much unless you're, at least for the first time you list products, not so much the first time you list products. The maybe subsequent times, if you're using downloading the version 3.0 from your account, those buy.com SKUs are populated, automatically populated in this field. However, most sellers are either using UPC or this seller SKU. Now, we all know what the UPC is. What is the seller SKU? Well, if you have added a product using the new product feed, there is a field called the seller SKU in there. And actually, let me bring that up. Let's see here so everyone can see. So hopefully some of you have worked with this feed. If you haven't, this is what is called the new product feed. The new product feed has this data field called the seller SKU. And all the seller SKU is a identifier of your choosing that links you back to this product that you added using the new product feed. So for those of you who have added new products with us, then you know exactly what this is. And you could use that data to populate the inventory feed, the product ID in the inventory feed. So you could either enter your seller SKU data here, the buy.com SKU you can always find on the side on the product page, and the UPC is something you would also most likely have in your possession if you're adding products that already exist in our catalog. And you could always use it to also list your products for the first time. But if you're, for example, an electronic seller, most likely we're going to have those products already in our system. The way to list those products will be to actually use the UPC code as the product ID. Now, the product ID type that tells us what product ID you're using, because this field is just an alphanumeric field. We can't tell exactly what you're using between UPC, the buy.com SKU, or the seller SKU. The product ID type tells us exactly what type of data that we're going to be processing in the product ID field. Now I'm going to open another sheet. Again, this is going to be a link that I'm going to share an email with everybody after the conclusion of the webinar. But this is a page here that has all our new product feed data. And what I mean by that is it has all the information you need that you'll need to create a new product feed. But for us specifically in this webinar, it also has where you can get the specifications for the inventory feed as well as the template. So the specs, this is the specification sheet. And so far what we've covered is the listing ID and the product ID. So the product ID type here, that's a code. It's 0 through 3. If you're using a seller SKU, it's going to be the number 3. If you're using UPC, it's going to be the number 2. If you're using the buy.com SKU, it's going to be 0. And so you want to ensure that you put at least one of those product codes, product ID type codes, into the product ID type field so we know what to process as the product ID. Now the item condition tells us what condition your products are in. Even though we have several item condition codes here, and again, the item condition is a numerical field. We're expecting one of these values in there. The most common ones are either the number 1 for brand new or the number 10 for manufacturer refurbished. 2, 3, 4, and 5 are really not used and not accepted. Only under very special circumstances that these will be used. The two ones that we expect to see are either 1 or 10. And when we say refurbished, we really mean manufacturer refurbished. So if you're an electronics seller and you're selling Sony refurbished DVD players, that is going to be from Sony. It's going to be a Sony branded manufacturer refurbished product from the Sony factories. It cannot be a manufacturer refurbished product from a third party. It needs to have all the indicators and logos and things that, and other identifiers that show the sellers, and when they receive the package, that this is indeed something from Sony in our example. Price is the price you're going to sell the product for on the site. That is the sell price. That's pretty straightforward. Now, the map field, for those of you who do have manufacturer advertise agreements, minimum advertiser agreements with your manufacturers, this is the amount that you want to put in there if you're selling below MAP. Now, for those of you who do not know what MAP is, you probably do not have a MAP agreement with your manufacturer. A MAP agreement is a binding legal document saying that you are not going to advertise or go out and advertise your product at a price below what has been agreed between you and the manufacturer. So if you're selling at MAP, then you can leave this field blank. However, if your price is below what your minimum advertised price is, then you'll need to put that price here. And what that does is it sets the functionality, different types of functionality on how that price is displayed on the site. And we'll go through that using by the map type. So this is your price, your sell price. If you have any map agreements with your manufacturers, certainly put that map pricing in here. Now, you have several different types of what we call map types. 0 would be none. Obviously, if you're filling in data in the map field, 0 probably would not be a map type. If you have 0 here, you most likely would have 0 here. But if you actually have a value here, what your map price is, then we're expecting a value of the 1 through 3. Now, you can have the functionalities when doing your map on how that pricing is displayed on the site by 3 different choices. You have click for price, in which the price isn't revealed on the product page and the buyer is directed to click a link to see the price. There's another version called cart for price, meaning that the buyer will not see the price unless that particular product is carted. And then there's a choice 3 where you actually have to get to checkout before you see the price. Again, this is a numerical field. We're expecting values of 0 through 3. Okay. Again, of course, if you don't have map, these 2 fields could be either 0 and 0, or it could be left completely blank. Do not remove any of the fields in this template. If you're not using them, leave them blank. If you're not using them and they're not required, that is. Removing these fields will cause some issues as the data is positionally based. Next field is quantity. It tells us how many you have to sell. Okay. Offer expedited shipping. That tells us whether or not you're going to offer expedited shipping or not. Again, it's a code. It's either a 1, meaning that you are going to offer expedited shipping, or 0, that you're not. It's not required that you do offer expedited shipping, but it is required that you tell us whether or not you are. The description is not a product description. This used to be the old product note field or product comment field. It's for things like new in box, manufacturer refurbished, real short sentences. It is not a field that's to be used as a product description. The product description is already on the product page. This description field is something more about the product that's very specific to you, the seller. The description on the product page is for the benefit of all the sellers as well as the buyer. And it's as generic as it can be, not pointing to anything specific about that product as it pertains to a seller. The description field here gives you the opportunity as a seller to say something a little bit more. Now, the next set of fields are whether or not you're offering certain types of shipping methods and how much you want to charge for them. As we had described before, we have these different types of shipping methods. One is the expedited shipping. We have the standard shipping. We have 2-day, 1-day, and local delivery. I would imagine a lot of you not having local delivery. That is very for those sellers who do have the infrastructure to be able to support actually taking the order in the morning and being able to deliver it that same day. So we have these offer expedited shipping, offer 1-day shipping, offer 2-day shipping, offer local delivery. They work all the same. 1 meaning that you are offering that particular delivery method. 0 meaning that you are not. Okay. Now, once you've determined whether or not you're going to offer these various types of shipping options, you could very well include those rates here in the template. So the shipping rate standard would have a rate. If you're offering expedited shipping, it has a rate, and so on and so forth with the shipping rate 2-day, the shipping rate 1-day. Now, a question will come up is why am I filling these rates out when I have shipping definitions set up in my account? Well, the shipping definitions set up in your account is for all your listings, and that is your primary in terms of what you want to charge the customer for shipping the product to them. The inventory feed has the opportunity to override your shipping options that you set up through your account. So whatever you have for shipping your products, standard, for example, if you put a number here, if you put a value here, that will override what you have as your shipping settings that you set up in your account. Some sellers want that ability. They want to be able to pick and choose, for example, free shipping. Free shipping would be a 0. And let's say that the seller wants to offer free shipping for just very specific products. So they will put a 0 in the shipping rate standard field for those items that they want to hand pick to offer free shipping to. And that also goes to stand if you want to offer a higher or lower rate than what you've set up in your account. You could do that here as well. Okay. So it works the very same way in respect to the 1-day shipping and the 2-day shipping. Whatever amounts you put in here will override what you've set up as your shipping settings in your account. Now, shipping lead time is something very specific to toys, baby, sports, and the home and outdoor categories, or the home and garden. All the other categories must follow our mandatory 2-day shipping policy. We realized that some of the items in those categories are either bulky or heavy or both, and getting those items together to ship may take a little bit more time. You have up to 7 days. You don't have to put 1 or 2 in there. It's going to be assumed that if you don't have a value in there, you're under the standard 2-day shipping. The numbers 3 through 7 will tell us if there's any extension on that standard policy. Again, it's only related to those products that are outlined in the specifications. And again, you will get those the link to that page after we're done here with the webinar. So make sure that if you are using shipping lead time, it's very important that you stick with home and outdoor, sports, toys, and the babies category. Okay. I also want to point out that the shipping rate standard, shipping rate expedited, all these shipping rate fields do not have to be filled in. They could be left blank. Our last field here, after all the shipping fields and the shipping lead time, is the reference ID. Now, the reference ID is really important because it is what gets passed to you in the order. So it should be something, any alphanumeric that you want, it should be something that when you're pulling orders, you know exactly what to ship to our customer. It could be the manufacturer part number, it could be the UPC, it could be any alphanumeric you like. Again, it's very important that it's very meaningful so you know exactly what to ship to the customer. Now, we also mentioned that the inventory feed is used to close listings. The way you close an active listing is you simply put 0 in the quantity field here. That will close your listing. It will no longer be offered, purchasable by you, the seller. You could always add a positive quantity back to reactivate the listing. So the inventory feed not only lists products for sale, you can control whether or not that listing remains active or if it's closed. And again, when you've completed the inventory feed, you need to remember that you have to convert it into a text tab delimited field. A text tab delimited file. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it processed. Now, once you have completed the conversion of the Excel file to a text tab delimited one, you could upload your inventory feed in your seller account page. You would simply do that. Let's see if I can get that page up. Here we go. Now what you're seeing before you is your what we call the Marketplace Seller Tools. It's your seller account. Up here you have the seller ID. If you ever forget your seller ID, you could always look on the upper right-hand corner to get it. Now, once you have, again, completed the conversion of your Excel to the text tab delimited file, you're going to want to upload that inventory feed using the seller tool area. Under Manage Inventory, there's a link called Upload Listing Batch Files. You click that, it takes you to this page. It has some more information here. In addition, it also has a place where you can get the feed specifications of which we've been reviewing here today, as well as as well as the template here. Now, you should have your inventory feed saved somewhere on your computer. You want to choose Inventory Listings, and then browse through your computer to find exactly where you saved your inventory feed. Select it, like I just did, and then click the Upload File button. And what you'll get is a message saying that you have successfully uploaded your inventory feed. Now, what it does not say is that whether or not your inventory feed successfully processed or not. To see whether or not it's successfully processed, you want to click this text link here. It's called "Click here to view your file upload results." And what that does is it creates a pop-up. As you can tell, we have several folders here. These are all the types of data feeds that you can upload, with the exception of the new SKU one. The new SKU one is one that you actually need to approve you to upload that particular data feed. But all the other ones you can upload through your seller tools. Now, the one that we're specifically going to check on is the inventory archive. Now, I don't have any here, but what you would actually see is that the inventory feed, once it's processed, you'll see the original file here, and you'll also see what is called a response file. And the response file has a .resp file extension on it. And what you do is you want to click that and open it up. And what it does is it gives you a line-by-line result of what happened to your inventory feed. So that's a detailed way of finding out whether or not your inventory feed is processed or not. The other way is simply going to the Manage Inventory section, and depending on how large your inventory feed is, usually within the hour, it would have processed. So what you can do here is click View, Edit Your Listings. Simply click the search button, and it'll list all your listings out. It gives you a total number of records, and from that you can determine whether or not how successful your inventory feed was in processing. However, going back to Upload Listing Batch Files and clicking this link here, click here to view your file upload results, that's the very detailed way, and probably the best way to determine which lines failed to process and which lines did not, or you could have a formatting error which caused the entire file to get rejected. Okay. So that about covers the inventory feed version 5.0. The only difference between 5.0 and 3.0 is 5.0 has the additional shipping rate fields, whereas 3.0 will only have offer expedited shipping, shipping rate standard, and shipping rate expedited. Okay. Now I'm going to open everyone up here, and I see that someone has a question. Charlie?
Yeah, I was asking earlier about where the new feed. You had the whole spreadsheet there, and I was asking where that was at, but I found it while you were talking.
Oh, great. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
I do have another question if I can ask.
Sure.
In this more